This is our video on psychotherapy, presented to you by Anna, Anisha, what do psychotherapists Nehem, and do? Timi. Psychotherapy is the practice of assisting individuals, couples, families, or groups in addressing emotional problems, behavioral issues, and mental health issues. Psychotherapists are licensed professionals who employ a range of therapy techniques and philosophies to advance mental health, personal development, and psychological well-being. They also tailor their approach to the unique needs and goals of their clients. They may also work in collaboration with other healthcare professionals, such as psychiatrists, social workers, psychologists, or any other, to ensure comprehensive care for their clients.
Who do psychotherapists work with? Psychotherapists treat a wide variety of people, including individuals, groups, couples, and families. Here are some of the groups that psychotherapists typically work with. Individuals. Psychotherapists often work with individuals of all ages who are experiencing mental health challenges, emotional distress, and behavioral issues. They may assist clients dealing with conditions such as anxiety, depression, phobias, post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, eating disorders, personality disorders, or other mental health conditions. The second group is couples. Psychotherapists provide counseling and therapy for couples experiencing relationship difficulties, communication problems, conflict resolution issues, or issues related to intimacy and trust. They help couples develop healthier patterns of interaction, improve their understanding of each other's needs, and enhance the overall relationship satisfaction. The third group is families. Psychotherapists work with families to address conflicts, improve communication, and strengthen relationships. They may assist families dealing with issues such as parenting challenges, divorce or separation, blended family dynamics, behavioral problems in children or adolescents, or the impact of trauma on family functioning. The final group is just groups. Some psychotherapists lead therapy groups or support groups. These groups bring together individuals facing similar challenges, such as addiction recovery, grief and loss, stress management, or specific mental health issues. Group therapy provides a supportive environment where members can share experiences, gain insights, and learn from one another.
The College of Registered Psychotherapists of Ontario, or CRPO for short, is a regulatory body that regulates the profession and establishes standards of practice, professional ethics, and continuing education requirements for its members. Registration with the CRPO is voluntary but offers professional recognition and accountability. To be eligible for registration, individuals must meet specific educational, training, and experiential requirements. These requirements typically include completing a recognized psychotherapy program, accumulating supervised clinical experience, and demonstrating competency in relevant areas. The standards of practice cover various aspects of professional conduct, including ethical principles, confidentiality, informed consent, maintaining appropriate boundaries, and providing culturally sensitive care. Registered psychotherapists are expected to comply with these standards in their professional practice. The CRPO encourages ongoing professional development among registered psychotherapists. They are required to participate in continuing education activities to enhance their knowledge and skills. The CRPO may have specific requirements for the number of continuing education hours that must be completed within a given period to maintain registration. The CRPO has a process in place to handle complaints against other registered psychotherapists. Individuals who have concerns about the conduct or competence of a registered psychotherapist can submit a complaint to the CRPO. The college investigates complaints and, if necessary, takes disciplinary actions such as issuing warnings, imposing conditions on practice, or revoking or suspending registration. Quality assurance measures are implemented to ensure that registered psychotherapists maintain a high standard of practice. These measures may include peer and practice assessments, self-assessments, and the development of a professional development plan. The goal is to support ongoing competence and quality improvement among registered psychotherapists. The CRPO maintains a public register of registered psychotherapists in Ontario. This register provides information about their registration status, contact details, and practice locations of registered psychotherapists. The public can access this information to verify the credentials and registration status of the aforementioned. The College of Psychologists of Ontario, or CPO for short, is a regulatory college that oversees the practice of psychology in Ontario. Psychologists who provide psychotherapy services must be registered with the CPO. They have their own set of standards and guidelines that govern their professional practice. The Ontario College of Social Workers and Social Service Workers, or OCSWSSW for short, is a regulatory body that oversees the practice of social work in Ontario. Some social workers provide psychotherapy services and must be registered with the OCSWSSW. They have their own code of ethics and practice standards. The Ontario Association of Consultants, Counselors, Psychometrists, and Psychotherapists, OACCPP for short, is a professional association for mental health practitioners, including psychotherapists, in Ontario. While not a regulatory body, it provides a voluntary registration mechanism for psychotherapists who meet specific education and training requirements. The College of Nurses of Ontario, or CNO for short, regulates the practice of nursing in Ontario. Registered nurses, RNs, and nurse practitioners, NPs, who provide psychotherapy services must be registered with the CNO. They follow the CNO standards and guidelines related to psychotherapy practice.
To practice psychotherapy competently in Canada, individuals are required to meet certain educational requirements and obtain relevant certifications or licenses. The specific requirements can vary slightly depending on the province or territory, as each has its own regulatory bodies and licensing procedures. However, the following summary provides a general overview of the educational path required to become a competent psychotherapist in Canada. First one is obtain a bachelor's degree. The first step in the educational journey is to earn a bachelor's degree in a related field. While specific programs may vary, it is common for aspiring psychotherapists to major in psychology, social work, counseling, or related discipline during their undergraduate studies. This foundational degree provides a broad understanding of human behavior and the theories that underpin psychotherapy. The second step is pursue a master's degree. A master's degree is typically the minimum requirement for becoming a licensed psychotherapist in Canada. There are various types of master's programs that can lead to a career in psychotherapy, including Master of Social Work, Master of Counseling, Master of Psychology, or Master of Arts in Counseling Psychology. This program offers advanced coursework in therapeutic techniques, psychotherapy assessment, ethics, and research methods. The third step is clinical experience. Alongside academic coursework, gaining practical experience in a clinical setting. Gaining practical experience in a clinical setting is crucial for developing clinical skills. Many master's programs in psychotherapy require students to complete a specified number of supervised clinical hours, typically through internship or practicum placement. These opportunities allow students to apply theoretical knowledge in real-world settings, work with diverse populations, and gain exposure to various therapeutic modalities. The fourth step is licensure and certification. After completing a master's degree, individuals must obtain the necessary licenses or certifications to practice psychotherapy legally. The requirements for licensing vary by province or territory, but they generally involve passing an examination, demonstrating a certain number of supervised clinical hours, and adhering to ethical guidelines set by the professional regulatory bodies. Examples of such bodies in Canada include the College of Registered Psychotherapists of Ontario, CRPO, the Ordre des Psychologues du Québec, and the British Columbia Association of Clinical Counselors. The last step is continuing education and professional development. Once licensed, Psychotherapists are expected to engage in ongoing professional development to stay updated with the latest research, therapeutic techniques, and ethical standards. This typically involves participating in workshops, conferences, and additional training programs. Many regulatory bodies also require psychotherapists to meet specific continuing education requirements to maintain their licenses. The specific requirements may vary depending on the province or territory, and it is advisable to consult the relevant regulatory bodies or association to obtain accurate and up-to-date information for the desired jurisdiction.
Hello everyone. So I'm talking about some extra information on psychotherapy, and I'm gonna focus a little bit on the evidence-based practice of psychotherapy. So evidence-based practice in psychotherapy uses evidence-based practice by incorporating research into clinical practice. It also provides research-driven evidence rather than relying on personal opinions. So this means that there is some research in psychotherapy. As Timi said, there is a lot of steps for someone to get their psychotherapy education. Therefore, there is a lot of evidence-based involved in psychotherapy. As well, psychotherapy uses empirical evidence, and it reduces opinion-based bias of recalling only on successes. So even though psychotherapy is a good field for mental health, there is some cons and pros, and researchers and professionals on the field make sure that there is evidence to back up the cons and pros as well from psychotherapy. Also, when psychotherapy is practiced appropriately, evidence-based practice can complement clinical expertise when making judgments. And as well, evidence-based practice in psychotherapy promotes development on guidelines and databases that can help clinicians make critical treatment decisions. So again, evidence-based practice in psychotherapy is essential because like that, clinicians on the field can make personalized treatments for every patient that they have. Now, for the second slide, for more extra information on psychotherapy, it's the integration with medication. So psychotherapy also makes sure to combine medication because in some cases it's more effective than medication alone or vice versa. Usually, medication and psychotherapy are combined in major mental health disorders such as major depression, panic disorders, and or OCD. However, professionals also believe that in some circumstances, psychotherapy may be the best option by itself. But overall, the treatment plan either is short or long-term therapy, medication, or a combination of both should be personalized because this makes sure that it fits the patient's mental health needs. It should also schedule constraints and preferences and the patient's budget as well. So even though medication and psychotherapy may be essential for some circumstances, professionals on the field need to make sure that it also fits the patient's unique mental health needs, such as scheduling, money, like physical health, mental health, what do they do in their lifestyle that is making this mental health problem happening more often. So all these questions, they need to be asked before continuing with medication and psychotherapy combined. And lastly, just a little bit of overview on the benefits of psychotherapy, such as Anisha mentioned, just a little bit overview. So Basically, psychotherapy improves emotional and psychological well-being and is linked with positive changes in the brain and body. Other benefits may include fewer sick days, less disability, fewer medical problems, and increases work satisfaction. And that's it. Thank you so much for hearing. And yeah.